So when it comes to blockchain technology and cryptocurrency, it's a for anyone that's really new to the space, when you're coming into this space, there's essentially kind of like two types of individuals, and two reasons really, mainly why people probably will interact with blockchain and this new technology. And the first one is to extract, and the second one is to create. So, with the first one being extract, a lot of people want to get their ticket to the rocket, to go ahead and get on the moon. We want to make a lot of money. I get it. Me too. I want to make some bread too at the same time, and I want it. I want my rocket to actually look fire. Like I want it to look good. That'd be tight if I can put like some, you know, like a big ass Bitcoin graffiti onto it. Maybe some Algorand or Ethereum, a whole bunch of different icons or logos rather of different crypto projects. Put it all pasted on the rocket. You know what I'm saying? And then just literally, save my seat and we going. But at the same time, if we are all like going and getting tickets to go to the moon, um, and if we're all sitting in our seats, you know what I mean, like waiting to go to the moon, well, who's gonna drive the rocket, right? That becomes an important question. And you can say, oh well, it's automated, it's computer automated. We don't need an actual pilot. We just set it up to code, and we just sit back and wait, and wait till it gets there. Um, and that strategy is a tough strategy because it means you're hoping that someone else is gonna do take on the responsibility and take on the creative mind to establish value in the ecosystem. And there are some individuals that are robins. They're great number twos, number threes, number fours, and everyone waiting for the rocket to go up is essentially obviously not the pilot. But that doesn't mean they can't become the pilot, or they already are the pilot and just haven't um, figured out their own belief system and their own confidence and their own thing as well. And as a community, that's where it becomes even more important. So, if we all truly want this ecosystem of opportunity, the upgrade of the internet, taking us to the next level, and we need to, at the same time, be an extractor and a creator. So, as a creator, now you're coming to the space and you're adding value to the ecosystem. And it doesn't need to be this super elaborate, detailed, um, award winning type of application or use case. It doesn't need to be an Amazon or an Apple. It doesn't need to be on that level. Should you strive for that level? Yeah. But it doesn't need to be to that level because we are in the early stages of everything. And right now, the best way to understand how the community will, I guess essentially reflect and decide and pick what, what's liked and what's disliked, and, how the chain and the community and the people of the chain, how it will all essentially operate. So we need to build uh, dApps and decentralized applications. We need to build wallet. We also need to create more information pertaining to what and why do you use blockchain cryptocurrency. Um, and I don't mean in the sense of how to use it, but what are also the responsibilities of the individual when you do decide to come over or incorporate, blockchain technology within your business? So what does that even mean? You know, if you are essentially going to be that gatekeeper for your inner circle, your inner community, your family, your close friends, and all of that, and if it's your job to go and find out the information and bring it back to your community, and then one of the main things that I would absolutely understand myself, and I would recommend somebody else that's new to the space, is number one, asking, are you ready to take on the financial responsibility of your capital? Okay? Are you ready to um, become the main source of protection and everything for your finances? Some people may say yes, some people may say no. There is no right or wrong, okay? So let's just get it out of the way, all right? There's no right or wrong, okay? It's all about understanding your level of comfortability, okay? And therefore it will allow you to have a path to journey down when you are entering the crypto space, so you don't overwhelm yourself with too much, or you don't over not even overwhelmed, but you don't necessarily waste time on 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 this path when you can be focused on another path. So let's be a little bit more detailed by an example. I'll give you a story. So you're new off the block and you are upset, maybe, or not upset, but you've lived your life, right? And you've done it a certain way. But for some whatever reason, you enjoy it, you're successful at it, you like it, but something is missing, maybe. Something is missing and you just can't quite figure it out. If that is maybe where you're at or how you're feeling, there's nothing wrong with it. Number one, it's cool if you're confused. It's part of growing up. For any of the young bucks out there, if you're older in the game and you're still feeling this way, and then maybe you've reached the impact level that you're currently at, and you need to figure out how else can I establish an impact to my family and my circle, or my community, and my network, okay? Whether it be a business associates or non-business associates, just people of the community. How can I utilize my current skill sets to the benefit of everyone and anyone else? Um, and depending on how much you want to get into that is going to depend on how you're going to want to interact with the blockchain. So if you're someone that's like, I'm done with, doing my finances, this, right now I'm done with the banks. I can't, this is it. I'm so sick of the fees. I'm so sick of, whatever ABC 1 2 3. I'm just don't want to deal with the bank anymore, or something like that. Okay. Um, and then you're like, oh, you know what? Let me go 100% crypto. Let me go 100% crypto. I'm gonna live my life all crypto. That's it. Totally decentralized. There's nothing. Blah 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 blah. Well, those are two extremes on either side of the fence. Neither one is really useful to yourself, okay, or to the community, because at the end of the day, um, you may be you may be in a place of confusion. So it's difficult to then move out of that until you've come into, until you decide to make a decision on how blockchain can help your life and how you could be a value addition to this community of the chain. So if you're like a network marketer or something like that, right? And you're like, I'm not technical, I'm not a techie, I don't know how to code, but I do know how to market, I do know how to talk about this, I do know how to communicate on this. How can I use those skill sets in blockchain? Or you're like, hey, I suck at marketing, I suck at social media, and I can't, I'm not really good at putting 4 or 5 posts out a day. I know I should, but for some reason I don't. It's just not my thing. I'd rather be focused on the code. I'd rather be focused on on the hardware or the computers, the front end, the back end. That's cool too. So what did I just describe? I just described the team, because I described two different types of individuals that knew their strengths and their weaknesses, but at the same time would work stronger together instead of separate. And that's what the current system is, where right now, the capitalistic strategy is to still figure out how to do it alone, or take the time to learn whatever and work on your weaknesses, to whatever. But that just it's just gonna make everything longer at the end of the day. And whereas if we are truly focused on a goal, and then it shouldn't matter who's doing what position or what duty for the machine for that goal. What does matter is an individual that knows how to plug in the right solution for whatever vulnerability or delay in the macro level of the goal, okay? So if the goal right now is to increase to mass adoption, number one, that is a very high on goal. Not number two, what is mass adoption and how is that truly defined? What is the acceptable level where we're like, oh yeah, you know what, we've reached this number, so we're good, we got mass adoption? Is it the communication level of, hey, everybody's talking about it? That doesn't necessarily mean that it's actually generating whatever type of positive cash flow. But people are talking about it, but they're not investing in it or trading. Or, people are talking about it, but then nobody's actually meeting in groups and creating applications. People are talking about it. I see YouTube videos about it, but they're not buying GPUs or ASICs. They're not running nodes in their house because whatever reason, who knows. But all of those different types of scenarios are all opportunities to fill in the blank. So we need to find a way to plug in the holes and establish a stronger collaboration within the Web3 ecosystem. I keep hearing tribalism a lot in conversations sometimes, or just going and bouncing around from different rooms and communities, and that's just weird. Okay? That's just weird, and that doesn't help anything or anyone. Okay? It's literally just repeating history. And so it's just like, what are we doing? Okay? Blockchain is about collaboration. And essentially, we've used this collaborative peer-to-peer transactional strategy before. A long time ago, even on Wall Street, it was done before. Okay? During the bartering days, okay? Long time ago, before the Wall Street building came up, they used to trade under a tree. Literally, people would come and they would trade under a tree. And you would communicate, hey, I was going to buy this asset for that. Or maybe they were trading, hey, I will give you a horse for a pig. Or, hey, I'll give you that barrel of hay for, a donkey. I don't know. But you understand what I mean? They were trading with each other. But in that time period, the transactional time frame was days, sometimes even weeks. You might go meet somebody under the tree to establish the trade, but you have to go back to maybe whoever's really in charge that actually has the money and has the actual inventory, all right? And you have to go back to the individual and let them know what happened under the tree, all right? So then we had to establish trust. Word is bond. We had to establish trust. We had to establish a way to be like, yo, you said you was gonna swap my horse for some hay. You told me that under the tree. That's what the agreement was. Okay? So now my man's bringing you the horse and you're coming with the hay. We meet at the tree. Boom. Or maybe they did it on their own. Maybe they didn't actually transact at the tree. Maybe they all transact at the tree. I'm not too sure where the actual transaction actually occurred. Okay? But my point of bringing all of that up is that is a peer-to-peer system. Okay? It was a peer-to-peer transactional system. That's what it is. And that's what blockchain is. That was blockchain before computers. Okay? So the peer-to-peer system is nothing new, guys. All right? It's nothing new. It's something we have been doing for generations upon generations upon generations since the beginning of time. We have always had a transactional peer-to-peer system. So there's nothing new that you are learning. What has happened to the peer-to-peer system now is that it's coming back alive. And it's coming back stronger. And now we get to actually have access and be able to monitor the transactions. So instead of our TPS, the transactions per speed, instead of it being days and weeks for back in the day, all right, and then Wall Street came and all that, and computers came, and now transactions were happening, in seconds. All right, the computer was verifying a transaction. All right, whoever had a computer was able to do that and was able to be that middleman before the two parties. Okay, and then they would say, hey, you know what? Now I don't have to send my messenger man to go take a 3-day ride to go talk under the tree to exchange a horse for some hay with such and such over there. Now we can just call them up on the phone, interact it with on the but the difference is we would still have to use a centralized point, the people that had the computer systems and the equipment to do these transactions and to monitor the transactions for everyone else. All right, so that's what was going on. So that's even better. Think about it. Because before, it didn't matter. You're like, yo, we had to do what we had to do. This wasn't available. All right, now this is available. Well, shit. Instead of it taking a week or 2 weeks, now we can transact in a couple days. Maybe a day or 2 days. All right? So it's still decreasing in time frame. However, as the population increases, as more and more assets increase, okay, eventually it's going to get to a time frame where the data is just, is just too much. It's overwhelming, and it's not going to run efficiently, and it's not going to represent the entirety of the global ecosystem and the global world of the human population. Because if this is something that's based off of a peer-to-peer network, it is crazy that we allowed the middleman to gain full control over a peer-to-peer network. And so blockchain was always here, but it went dormant. It went dormant for a long time. And now it has awakened because the technology has finally caught up to the economical issue. Okay? Now they're both on the same level, and the collaboration has been created. Bitcoin was born. And because Bitcoin was born, the peer-to-peer communicational transactional system has awoken. All right? The new transactional opportunity is here, and it's here to help us reach a new level of human evolution. So how are you going to position yourself in this new level that we're going to start communicating on? We are enhancing the frequency of everyone across the world, and we're also including a lot of people that were also misrepresented for many generations. Okay? There, and for everyone outside of the US, we also got to remember there are a lot of people in many countries that just don't even have access to control their financial capabilities. All right? So there's growth everywhere. There's growth in the wealthiest communities to the poorest communities. Blockchain technology can help in either one. And it's not here to make it a level playing field. I'll tell you this shit right now, okay? So anybody come in thinking that this is going to make some kumbaya, peaceful fucking world, that's not what this is about. It's got nothing to do with that. If we want a kumbaya, peaceful world, okay, and then we need to take money out and just have the conversation, because money ain't got shit to do with it. But the psychological mindset of how you do business should. How word is bond used to mean something, and now it doesn't mean shit. Maybe in some tight circles and communities it still does, but for the large population, I don't even know if anyone even knows what that means when you say it anymore. Because we have seemed to have forgotten what our peer-to-peer community valuation of each other. We've literally lost that ability to remember that as a community we are strong. And as a community and as a human, it is still our responsibility and duty to take care of our earth and our planet and of each other. And somewhere along the line, we stopped doing that. And I don't know why. I don't see the benefit on the other side at all. And if you can find a better way of doing it that way, without collaboration and without concern of our own community, even if it's as simple as, hey, you're walking around and you see like, fast food trash on the ground, or cups or cans, and like keeping track and keeping your area clean has nothing to do with wealth or money. It's got nothing to do with it at all. And I didn't know that for a long time because I was always focused on myself. But not just myself, but I was also upset with the way the world was. But if I'm not creating value and adding to the creative side of things, and then I'm no different than just an extractor, someone here to just extract, whether it's to extract gold from earth, extract water from the ground, or oil, or is it to extract money from the crypto markets? One day it will dry up. One day it will go away. One day it won't be available and it won't be extractable because no one focused on creating. So we need to waken the creative minds of the world and let them know it's okay to work with blockchain. It's okay to try something out and you may not get financially compensated for it. It's okay to do some work for the greater good of our community. And outside of that, for anyone that may not have whatever knowledge or skill sets to help, and they're like, man, you know what, I don't know how to do it. Trust me, there's always a way that you can add your creative value to it. Even if it's just having a conversation with other people, talking about it, introducing it, and sharing where the knowledge is located. All right? So, all those little things matter. And they all make a big difference on the grand scheme of things. Because if we truly want mass adoption, we need to let people understand, and we have to let people know that if this is something they're going to want to partake in, well, is it really worth them taking the time to come over and hang out? Or is it really worth their time to learn how to download a MetaMask wallet? Is it really worth understanding how you can earn yield from DeFi, from staking your crypto? Is it really worth it learning how to trade the markets so you can establish some type of profitable income from your home or anywhere you can get internet connection? Is it really worth supporting a community of developers as a blockchain miner so they can test and run their decentralized applications and the community to grow? Is it worth running a validator to be rewarded for verifying those transactions? Or is it worth even understanding, hey, I'm going to learn Solidity, or I'm going to learn PyTeal, or I'm going to learn Reach, and I may not know what comes from it, but is it worth it? Well, I can tell you this. If you're asking the question, is it worth it? Well, you're at least going down the right path of creativity. And you're finally coming on over to the other side. But I promise you, that is just your beginning, and it's not where you need to stop. It's where you need to double down and figure out, all right, if I'm going to work on PyTeal, or if I'm going to work on Reach, or if I'm going to be a miner, or if I'm going to be NFT, whatever it is that you're going to add value to the world, to the ecosystem, well, just double down. Double down, and just know that there is still a community of others, your peers, that got your back on the other things. And in the end, from all of us collectively working together, adding value, it should in turn create more value of the ecosystem, in turn essentially, get the eyes of the ones that aren't part of the conversation and say, hey, what's going on over there? Hold on a minute. Y'all been doing this whole time? Y'all look like you guys are having fun. Wait, hold on. And you're making some money too? Wait, time out. How do you do this? But nobody knows unless we create the vision by just doing it. Doing it each and every day. Meeting, video calls, Zoom calls, meetups in person, conferences, workshops, all of these things. They all matter. And they're all important. And they all should be documented and put on the internet to let people know that there's movement. And whether you're Algorand or Ethereum, if there's movement of value going on in the community, it needs to be shared, plain and simple. Because there's no way for anyone to know that you are making movement unless somebody tells them. And it's not about pounding on your chest. It's literally letting people know that, hey, there's people focused on XYZ. Like Helium focused on IoT. And some people are upset with them going to Solana, and a lot of changes has happened in the blockchain. But the one thing that they're doing right is collaborating. And that's the one thing that's going to be their actual, what's the word I'm looking for? I don't want to say like, that's probably going to be one of the best decisions of the entire, historical lifetime of Helium, was being a collaborator. And I hope other blockchains and ecosystems and protocols take heed of this and start to do the same thing. Because if we just create a world on a Web3 decentralized blockchain of a whole bunch of communities, we are no different than a capitalistic society we are all trying to improve upon. To have battles within ourselves is just foolish. Remember, this is the beginning of blockchain and the beginning of the transition, the era of the chains. My name's Simon. I hope you enjoyed this video. If you did, let me know. Leave a comment. Give me some pointers of how to improve, how not to improve. And if you enjoyed this kind of off the cuff, just talk, let me know that too. Alright? I'll start actually probably, we didn't even go over any of the stuff that I was going to go over. I guess this was something I had to get off my chest. Alright, y'all. I'll catch you on the next video.